Hello, welcome to the Degenerate YouTube page. Myself and Steak are going to be coming here every week, likely Friday, late afternoon, early evening, and Saturday morning for your viewing pleasure. We're going to post our best bets. We go all week, if you're not familiar, on our Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter channels, doing the board review every weekday, 10 a.m. But that's when we research live and get a first look at the board. Now we want to polish our best bets and put them in this YouTube video. We also do the newsletter that comes out every Friday as well. You can subscribe for free at the website, thedegenerateweekly.com. Steak, you're a little banged up. You're not 100%. I think you came down quickly with something. What do you think? Is it Rona, or is it a cold, or what are you feeling?
I think it's just a cold, but I'm fighting through a flu game.
Yeah, it's week 1. We did this last week. We posted 2 videos to our YouTube page. The week 0 best bets, which were 50-50, good enough reads, I think, in there. And then the future bets. So you can also take a look at those if you haven't already. But all right, let's get into it. As always, by the way, we're presented by Pickett Sports. Make sure you download Pickett, track all your wagers, use promo code Degen when you do. You get a couple bucks back. All right, Steak, let's get into it. There are some games Friday night. It's not the most exciting slate by any means. Just quickly, I'm likely going to play UNLV. Do you have a bet that you like? You did tweet your thoughts on every game, which I liked, but there's nothing that I'm really eager to wager on tonight.
As a favorite, I'm with you on UNLV. I really like UNLV in a bounce back, and I'm not going to miss my opportunity to fade Wake Forest, who named Robbie Ashford their starting quarterback. I think they're going to be absolutely terrible. They have a cakewalk schedule, and I still bet their season total under wins because that's how bad I think Robbie Ashford and Wake Forest will be this year.
Okay.
I'm honestly going to sprinkle Kennesaw State money line because I just have to do it.
Sure. I love it. I got a couple big dogs I'm going to take a shot on this weekend. So UNLV's 13 down to 9. I'm sure everybody's fading that defense after they were in a dogfight against Idaho State. I got nothing in Colorado, Georgia Tech. That's an 8 o'clock game. And then Auburn, Baylor. I lean Baylor. We've got some smart guys we respect who are on Auburn. I think there's a lot of SEC bias still, even though nobody's really high on Auburn this year and Jackson Arnold. But that's a perfect wait and see game. You're on Baylor for the season. Again, if you watched our futures bets episode, Steak is on Baylor over 7.5 wins. I like it. And then Colorado, Georgia Tech, we did tail our guy Crutch, and we faded Georgia Tech on the season wins of 7.5. So we have a little investment there. Hopefully Colorado can pull through. Let's go to Saturday. So Saturday, we'll start with the noon slate. We'll kind of work our way down from there. We're not necessarily going to go through every game, but again, we'll talk about the marquee ones and then our best bets. So at noon, it's Ohio State and Texas. You just tweeted about this a couple minutes ago, or maybe an hour ago, whatever. But I believe we have a line flip. Do we officially have a new favorite in Columbus?
Sure do. And I think it was inevitable, like I said in my tweet, Texas -1.5, which I think all things considered should have been the opener. I know we went back and forth a little bit about this on stream, and everyone said, oh, you can't make Ohio State underdogs at the shoe. But in this situation, I kind of think you can with a brand new quarterback and how much hype there is behind Arch Manning in Texas. I kind of thought this would be the original line. So I'm not even like remotely surprised to see it flip.
Okay, fair enough. Let's talk about this game real quick. So let's see. I'm looking at the line here. Ohio State open -3. As you mentioned, now Texas is favored, or it's a pick 'em at a lot of places too. But officially at DraftKings, Texas is -1.5. It's a big 4.5 point move. There's been a lot of steam on a lot of these lines, which makes sense early in the college football season. But I just posted a video about USF's line movement last night when they played Boise State. 4.5 points. They went from 9.5 to 5 as underdogs at home. They won the game outright. But there's also steam that has not been so good. Rutgers opened 10.5. They closed 15.5, 16, and they won the game by 3. So it'll be an interesting thing to monitor. But respected, sharp bettors really like the Longhorns. I got to tell you, I'm not betting this game, but I agree with him. I just think I'm not out on Julian Sayin, the quarterback for Ohio State, but I don't know anything about the kid. I think he's going to be fine. I did watch the spring game, and I know people like to shit on me for it, but he throws a nice ball. That's what I got to say about Julian Sayin. Throws a nice ball. But Ohio State is just replacing so much talent. I have confidence that they're going to do just fine. There's always those schools that just reload with no problem. But they got Caleb Downs coming back. They got one or two guys on the defensive side. I think a linebacker in the free safety position that are important parts. And then obviously the wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith.
Yep.
Why the name was escaping me for a second, is the best in football between him and Ryan Williams at Alabama. So I like the under initially as well. Come to find out, everybody likes the under. This line moved down from 50, what is that? 50 and a half to 47. That's 3 points late. We just saw the opposite happen with the Rutgers game.
Yep.
47 and a half, closed 50 and a half. You like that over, it soared over.
Yep.
So I think I think the whoever's moving these markets is right. I like the under. I like Texas, but I'm gonna just sit back and watch. I'm putting my money elsewhere. Do you have a play in this game?
Yeah, there's just going to be some opportunities I refuse to miss. And it is what it is. Like if Texas beats the shit out of Ohio State at the shoe, I will just tip cap and burn my one unit. But I'm always going to take Ohio State at home against what I think is one of the trendiest college football teams of the last 10 years. And I've heard a lot about Julian Sayin being inexperienced, which he is. But Arch Manning does not have that much more college football experience, if we're being completely honest. He has under 1,000 career passing yards. And like I said on stream many times before, I believe Ohio State has literally the best offensive player and best defensive player in the country, Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Smith. And I think Carnell Tate could be the best number 2 wide receiver in the country. So if I'm Julian Sayin and I'm inexperienced, I got some real nice security blankets. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, I'll put my unit on Ohio State any day of the week. And if I lose it, I lose it. I have to spend it to find out here to see if Texas is legit.
Very fair. Do you have a thought on the total?
I would lean over.
Lean over. Okay.
Yeah.
Should be fun. Very excited. I mean, there's not a ton of huge matchups in week 1, but there are a handful. We'll make sure we touch on them even if we don't have wagers. All right. You have a play in another noon game on Saturday, Tulane and Northwestern. I am looking here, and according to covers, but you can never trust covers. You have to go double check, which I'm doing right now. There's been a big line move towards Northwestern, and now I'm on Wager Talk. This seems to be pretty accurate. The line opened 7. Tulane was favored by 7. It's down to 5. It's even down to 4.5 at DraftKings. The total 47.5 down to 46 or 45.5. I don't have a play, but I'm curious to hear where you're going with this one.
I feel like Northwestern is building something, and I feel like Tulane panicked and threw something together when they lost their quarterback to Duke for $8 million, which I don't think Tulane genuinely believed anyone was going to offer Darian Mensah that type of money. So then they got Jake Retzlaff a little late because he had, I guess I have to call him legal issues at BYU. He was accused of some kind of sexual misconduct. I don't know what happened, but obviously he's allowed to play football this year and he'll be the starting quarterback for Tulane. I don't like that fit as much as I like Preston Stone, which is funny because I think inarguably Jake Retzlaff definitely is a better quarterback than Preston Stone and had a better year last year. And BYU, obviously one of the surprise teams of the country. But I kind of like what Northwestern's got going on. I think Cam Porter's the running back. He's solid in returning. They took Purdue's best defensive player, who ironically is George Karlaftis' little brother, Yanni Karlaftis. And I really like Northwestern at +7. I'm an LCLV guy, so I didn't place it when I should have. So now I'm probably stuck staring down the barrel of +4.5 or +5. But honestly, I will not be surprised if Northwestern wins this game outright. I kind of don't like Tulane all year, to be completely honest.
I'm kind of in on Retzlaff, and we had a guy in our chat on our daily stream say that Retzlaff's overrated, or he's not that good. BYU only had so much success with him because of their defense. I watched BYU a handful of times. I thought their defense was outstanding, so I kind of understand what he's saying. But I thought Retzlaff was a pretty good quarterback. So to lose Mensah, which I'm fading directly with Duke because I just can't. I'm the most expensive college quarterback going to play Duke in his first year. No thanks. I think that this is an okay fit, and I'm really not. I'm not against Northwestern here, and that's why I can't press a button. But if I were to make a play in this game, I'd probably go opposite of you. I like Tulane. I would buy them now at a lower number at a discount. They're at home. Last year they were 8-4, but they had some pretty respectable losses. I mean, they lost their it wasn't their home opener. I'm sorry. Against Kansas State, they lost 34-27. They lost at Oklahoma. They lost to Memphis 34-24. And then they lost to Army at Army the last game of the year. So I think this is a Tulane team that people are not really giving any respect to. I think they're just taking the points because it's, I mean, if I had to imagine, it's they're like you said, they're throwing something together and taking, or they took 7 with Northwestern. I would go opposite. I like the Green Wave here. I like him at home, but I don't have a play in this game. So best of luck to you with Northwestern. You going to take the money line or just the spread?
Probably just a spread.
Okay. All right. We got another noon game. Tennessee and Syracuse. This is an interesting one. So Tennessee is hosting, I guess you could say, Syracuse. Looks like it's a home game, but it's not. It's going to be at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I'm sure they're still going to pack the place out. I don't know that Syracuse fans are really traveling all that much. Going to be a lot of orange.
Yep.
This line opened 12.5. It's sitting around 14 or 13.5. The total was 55.5, down to 52 or 51. So a little movement on Tennessee, a lot of movement on this under. I am not going to be fading Syracuse very often this year, and that's because I'm a Notre Dame fan and I like Steve Angeli. Steve Angeli was the backup quarterback for Notre Dame last year. There was a quarterback competition at Notre Dame between Kenny Minchie and CJ Carr, which CJ Carr won. Angeli was the odd man out, and he transferred. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder, and I think this guy can play football. I really like the fit. I also like the coach of Syracuse. I believe his name is Fran Brown, but I'm not stupid. I can't bet on a first-year quarterback going to a school like Syracuse when they lost everybody. I mean, I don't know what the fuck happened. Like this is going to be a common theme in college football. A lot of players leave, a lot of new players come in, but from what I understand, and somebody can correct me in the comments, but I think Syracuse lost a shit ton of I don't know if you want to call it talent, but of players. So there's going to be a lot of new faces, and this is a brutal way to open up. I thought about going Tennessee, either first half, first quarter, or just laying it with the game. But I think what I'm going to do, it's the first one here on the big board. I'm going to go Syracuse team total under. If I can find a first half team total, I'm sure they're out there somewhere. I'm in Florida, so I only got Hard Rock, but I'll probably isolate it to the first half. But I think it's going to be a really tough start for Steve Angeli with Syracuse. However, I'm going to keep an eye on it because I think gradually later in the year, when they get some camaraderie and chemistry, I think he's a good enough quarterback to where they're going to be competitive. So hopefully they get their ass kicked. They power rate less in the market. You get more points with them as underdogs. And then I think they're going to start to bite a little bit later in the year. So Syracuse team total under, noon on Saturday. You got anything in this game?
Yeah, I think this is everyone's get cute spot of the week. I've seen a lot of love for Syracuse, and I don't think it's because anyone actually likes Syracuse. I think it's because Tennessee had an abysmal offseason after an abysmal showing in the playoff. They got absolutely shithoused by Ohio State, which I'm pretty sure was at home. That was in Tennessee. It was. Then Dylan Sampson's on the Browns.
Wait. Ohio State and Tennessee?
Yeah.
That was in Ohio State.
You sure?
The college football playoff.
Yeah, but why would Ohio State have had a home? I think it was in Tennessee.
Absolutely in Ohio State.
Okay, it was in Ohio State. You sure?
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, either way, it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with what I'm saying. So
okay.
You lose Dylan Sampson to the Browns. Squirrel White's at FSU. James Pierce, I'm pretty sure, is on the Falcons. Nico Iamaleava is on UCLA. That's a messy way to lose your five-star quarterback. Everyone has their own opinions about him, but no one in the world is excited about them snagging Joey Aguilar as a consolation prize after losing Nico Iamaleava to a contract dispute. And that's why I think everyone's getting cute with Syracuse is because of how down they are on Tennessee. And then I think once the first quarter starts and you see these two teams line up against each other and you see how much better and stronger and faster Tennessee is and how quickly they go up 14-0 in this game, I think it's just immediate regret with Syracuse because I think Tennessee in this big old stadium, which they're used to playing in, is just going to absolutely beat the piss out of Syracuse.
Okay. So what's the play?
Tennessee minus 13.5.
Minus 13.5. Okay. I dig it. Anything else that you have for the noon slate? I have one more that's at 12:45 before we get a little bit deeper.
All right. Well, let me just run down and I'll try to do like a less than 2 minutes on each of these games.
Sure.
Southern Miss is, in my opinion, I mentioned it to you last year. Southern Miss gives last year's Indiana's vibes. They got Marshall's head coach who is building something real nice at Marshall, and they got Marshall's entire team. It's the most hype you're ever going to see for a Southern Miss team, I think, ever. And then on the other hand, you got Mississippi State, who lost a game last year, 41-17 to Toledo. And I'm pretty sure they were like 2-10, 3-9, something horrible last year. They were on the Netflix documentary about the SEC. Jeff Libby, I've mentioned the coach. I'm rooting for the guy. I think he's going to figure it out. And I do think I want to fade this trendy Southern Miss team. and take Mississippi State. I don't think it's going to be another thing where another mid-major school can beat the shit out of Mississippi State like Toledo did. So I lean Mississippi State. And then one I like a lot more. So Maryland. Do you know anything about Maryland?
Not really. No.
Yeah, they're actually an interesting team. They have a coach. I don't know his name. He's on the hot seat for sure. They went 4-8 last year, but their offensive coordinator was Andrew Luck's offensive coordinator at Stanford. He also was Justin Herbert's quarterback coach in his rookie season, worked with Jay Cutler and Alex Smith. Their quarterback is Malik Washington. He was a 5-star for a long time. So 5-star going to Maryland's already a huge get. I think he got knocked down to a 4-star by the time it happened, but whatever. 4 or 5-star quarterback going to Maryland, mobile guy. And not much expectations. On the other end, Florida Atlantic, their quarterback is Caden Beltkamp. Does that ring any bells?
Yes, it does. Was he at Kentucky or Western Kentucky or something?
He's at Western Kentucky, and he won Conference Offensive Player of the Year. And now he's at FAU. And I find this to be a really interesting game with a total of 61.5. So I don't really have a play, but I'm excited about Maryland. I'm kind of excited about FAU too, to be completely honest. Like, this is one of the better quarterbacks they've had in a while. And I'm intrigued by the total. I haven't seen a lot of love for it, but I think this could absolutely be a shootout. But I think I like late add to my win totals. Maryland over 4.5 wins. It's plus 102 on FanDuel right now.
Okay. All right. That's fair. I knew nothing about either of those teams, so I'm glad you at least referenced it and brought it up. But I just got fucking burned on the over with Boise and USF. So that 61 number in week 1, a lot of unders are coming in, are killing me. But we have seen some dogs bark early, at least last night they did. So maybe some of these double-digit dogs, or it'll correct later into Saturday. We'll see how tonight goes. Next game for me, I'm going to be on Kentucky. Kentucky is playing Toledo. And where was this fucking game? Here it is. They opened 11.5. They're down to 10. I think I saw they got as low as 9.5. Now there's some buyback, so I got to get my bet in. I don't really know anything about Toledo. Absolutely nothing. But I do know that Kentucky was pathetic last year. I actually have their exact record. They won 1, 2, 3. They won 4 games. And 2 of those wins were Ole Miss and Murray State. It's hard to get much worse for the Kentucky team in the SEC. But we talked about it this week when we did our board review, Steak. I am liking this quarterback, Zach Calzada.
Yeah.
Is that how you say his name? This guy is a 6'4", 230 senior. I don't have his picture anymore. Oh, wait, actually, do I? Did I
have it up on my bedroom wall.
No, you don't.
I'm joking.
Oh, I thought I uploaded it, but maybe I just pulled it up and shared my screen when we talked about it on the board review. This guy looks like a little bit of a badass. I think that Kentucky, nobody is talking about them. And you talked about Southern Miss playing Mississippi State. Nobody likes Mississippi State. Like, that's what I hear people talk about Mississippi State. They don't like Mississippi State. I don't know if anybody even knows Kentucky exists anymore. So I'm going to say, with a new quarterback, new face, I'm not going to call it a fresh start. I think Stoops is still there. Mark Stoops is still there.
You got to think that guy's on the hot seat.
He's definitely on the hot seat. He's been there way too fucking long. But give me Kentucky to start the year against a team like Toledo. I don't think this is going to be like a UNLV and Idaho State thing where you come in sleepwalking and don't take your opponent seriously. You won 4 fucking games last year, and Toledo is a team that name that people recognize. So I like this Kentucky, I like Kentucky minus. I thought it was 9.5, but it's 10. So I'm going to take Kentucky. You got any thoughts on that?
I got thoughts. Toledo is the team that I told you beat Mississippi State 41-17 last year. And I think people kind of think they're going to be even better this year. They also beat Pittsburgh in a bowl game last year in 6 overtime. So big wins over major programs. Don't care. It's Mississippi State and Pittsburgh. Those are huge wins if you're Toledo.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will like Toledo as a trendy dog here for sure.
Good. I'll be fading that. All right. I got another one, 330. This one didn't make my big board. Actually, did it? Oh, yeah, it did. Made the fucking big board. It's right on the bottom. You were on this team last week in week 0 in Ireland. I'm going to take them today or tomorrow. Iowa State minus 14.5. I think people are going to get real cute fading Iowa State against South Dakota, traveling from Ireland, no bye week, no rest, and they have a look-ahead spot against Iowa. You know what the sandwich spot is for me? It makes too much sense. I think Iowa State has got to feel great after surviving the win against a massive conference opponent. on the road as an underdog, and they played very sloppy. It's not like they played a clean game. Neither team did,
No,
but they escaped with a win. I think they're going to come out in their home opener. I think they're going to feel fucking great at 1-0. And I don't think they're going to use this as a sluggish game necessarily. I don't think it's going to be a sleepwalk game. I think it's going to be a game they're going to take very seriously in front of their home crowd with a lot of excitement, and they're going to want to fine tune some things to get right before playing Iowa. 14.5. They're giving you that hook with South Dakota. I say it's bait. Give me Iowa State minus 14.5.
100% with you. Everyone told us in the Kansas State game, hey, we understand you guys like Rocco Becht. You should be concerned about how little familiarity he has with these wideouts, given the fact that Noel and Higgins were gone. I think this is a beautiful game for him to gain some familiarity with those guys, because I think everyone was right. Like, Rocco Becht is a gamer, but it was clear he hadn't played with those wide receivers a lot, and I think this is a perfect game. I think it's a Rocco Becht game for sure.
Okay. I don't know. I actually had something written down. I had Alabama FSU first half under. I'm starting to get cold feet on this game. I don't know what to think about Bama. Bama, it looks like they're minus 14, 13.5 on the road against FSU. But with this type of slate, I feel like we should talk about it. Do you have a play in this?
No, for me, it's Bama or nothing, and it's just strictly football brain. But I want to say to anyone listening who like literally takes our advice, Florida State for me is the biggest wait and see team. Like, I don't know how you possibly think you could figure out Florida State before you watch them play a football game this year. I have no idea what kind of fit Castellanos is. I don't know if FSU is really as bad as they were last year, or was it just like a spiral out of control where you have DJ Ugalele's playing fucking awful and team just completely stopped believing, and then all of a sudden you're 2-10, which is like abysmal when you were fighting to be in the playoff. Like, literally, you were undefeated. You were mad that Georgia made the playoff over you, and you follow that up by going 2-10 with a 5-star transfer quarterback who everyone thought was going to, I mean, at minimum, everyone thought Florida State would finish that season top 15. So this is a big wait and see. I don't know if I love the Castellanos fit, and I'm really high on Alabama. I think they might just absolutely dog walk these guys. But I understand anyone who says maybe the line's a little short, maybe Alabama's too obvious. I get all those things. I'm excited to watch it, man, but I really don't think I have a play.
Very fair. That's a tough game to wager on. I don't hear anybody talking about Florida State. I think that if anybody's going to be playing that game, it's probably going to be Alabama. I would maybe take a shot on the dog early if I had to, just like maybe a little bit sluggish, but then I could see Bama waking up
I get
and
it.
pulling away. But yeah, big wait and see team for Florida State for me. All right, I am scrolling through the rest of the board. Steak, I don't really see anything that's jumping out to me too much until I get to 7 o'clock. I've got to play in Texas A&M. Do you have anything before that?
Sure, we'll talk a little bit, and I'll make it quick. Coastal Carolina and Virginia.
Uh-huh.
Virginia has Chandler Morris from North Texas transferred in. Coastal Carolina been kind of good for the last few years. I think we're witnessing the fall off. I think their starting quarterback is actually MJ Morris, ironically, same last name. I think he's the kid from NC State. I don't like Coastal Carolina in this game or this season. I think we're gonna get a little fall into mediocrity for the Chanticleers. And I do think Chandler Morris is a good fit for Virginia. So I don't hate Virginia here. Not saying I'm playing it. I just thought it was worth talking about.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to fade the Texas A&M Aggies. Well, it's not even so much a fade of them. I let me rephrase. I'm taking UTSA plus 23.5, plus 24. Let me see what it is. It is, according to Wager Talk, Texas A&M open minus 21. They are 23.5. I'm fading the steam. 56.5 total. It's staying right around there. I like UTSA. I'm on their over win total. I've watched them play a handful of times. I like Owen McCown, their quarterback. He's coming back. Their head coach is Jeff Traylor. He's been there 5 years. And what I really love, now this, I'll tell you what I don't like in a second, but they have 8 starters coming back on offense. This is a UTSA team that did start the year last season on the road in week 3. Back-to-back games on the road. Texas State and Texas, they got their ass kicked by a combined score of 105-17. Okay. It was a rough start for UTSA, but they ended the year winning 4 of their last 6 games, and their losses were not that bad. At Tulsa, they lost 46-45, and at Army was a very good team last year, 29-24. They won their bowl game. They beat the absolute piss out of Coastal Carolina, 44-15. Owen McCown has 8 starters returning back. Well, 8 including himself. So 7 other starters on offense coming. All of his weapons, his wide receiver, his running back. I love it. Defense, though. all new faces. Not one starter coming back on defense. That's going to be a bit of a problem. But I think this UTSA team is going to be lethal on offense. I think they're going to be a problem. Texas A&M, I believe their quarterback is Marcel Reed. I'm not a hater. I did not like Connor Wegman last year. I did not get the hype at all. So I'm good with the quarterback change. This guy's pretty exciting. I don't know that he's the best passer, but he's dynamic. Let's put it that way. Texas A&M always recruits well. They're going to have more talented guys. I'm sure they're probably going to have their way with UTSA's defense, but I think UTSA can score and keep this within the number. So I'm going to take UTSA plus 23.5.
Going against you. I like Texas A&M. I agree with exactly what you said about Marcel Reed, but I don't think this is a game where you have to worry about how good of a passer he is. I worry about Marcel Reed in a game against, I don't know, Texas, where they're down 14-0 or 28-14 midway through the third, and you need him to pass every down. Mm-hmm. That's when I'm worried about Marcel Reed, but I just do not see how UTSA's defense, with what you said, a bunch of new guys going to stop this Texas A&M offense. I'm not seeing it, and I can't get out of my head that Texas A&M started the year the way they did against Notre Dame, and I don't think they're sleeping on UTSA, which I think would be the only chance that UTSA would have, is if they were sleeping on these guys, but they're not, because UTSA got a lot of hype. I know you know that. I'm not telling you anything like that you don't already know, but Texas A&M knows about UTSA, and sure. I'm kind of expecting Texas A&M to come ready to play for this one.
Okay. All right. Fair. By the way, if you're watching the video still, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and also hit that like button on the bottom. I don't know why it's good for the fucking algorithm. Leave a comment too while you're there. Interacting, engaging with the stream is great. We appreciate the support. All right. Let's finish strong here. We're in the 7:30 slate now, and we do have to talk about Clemson and LSU. Up until this point, I've been talking to you about this this morning. The total in this game is catching my eye, and we kind of differ on this, but Clemson, LSU, Clemson's -4. I'm going to look at the line movement here for a second. It looks like, if I can find it, I want to say it moved towards, it moved out from 3 to 4.5. So somebody likes Clemson, makes sense. 56.5 up to 57. I was initially thinking under in this game, but I'm starting to think a lot of people like the under in this game, because you got a great point about Nussmeier, which I'll let you talk about. But Clemson, Cade Klubnik, I don't know that anybody really likes Cade Klubnik, even though Clemson went to the playoff last year. He looked pretty good against Texas. I think everybody has Dabo fatigue and Cade Klubnik fatigue, but Clemson always has a good defense. Home opener. We know Brian Kelly's record in week 1 games down there. I think he's 0-5 so far at LSU. Does that sound right? 0-4, 0-5 in week 1 games.
Right. I attended one in person against
FSU. He lost to LSU, or he lost to FSU. He lost last year to USC. Is that trend going to end? I don't necessarily know, but I'm starting to think that this game might be a little bit of a shootout. I think we get points. It did move up from 56.5 to 57, according to Wager Talk. I don't care. I can see both these teams being in the 30s at some point, but I don't have anything on the side. So where are you at with this game?
So, okay. What my point about Nussmeier was, around May or April, when I'm like, okay, like, it's a long summer, there's only MLB, I'm gonna start looking into college football, and whenever the win totals dropped, it might be late May, June. Don't quote me on the date, doesn't really matter, it's irrelevant. But the first team, player, everything that I saw everyone fall in love with was LSU. Garrett Nussmeier, Heisman, #1 pick. And I was like, holy shit, like, I know Garrett Nussmeier is solid, but I can't believe the hype. Like, I watched this guy play a lot last year, and I wouldn't have expected this hype. I'm like, wow, he has so much hype. Then we get to August, we're talking college football every day, and all of a sudden I feel like he has no hype. And maybe I'm crazy, but I've never seen anything like it. Like, Cade Klubnik hype is at an all-time high in August, right? Everybody's really excited about Clemson and Cade Klubnik for good reason. But man, the Garrett Nussmeier noise got kind of quiet. I thought that was interesting. And so that has my attention. You mentioned Clemson's defense. They have 3 guys, Avion Terrell, TJ Parker, and I forget the other one, who could go top 10, 15 in the NFL draft. And they have Cade Klubnik, who's going to go top 5 in the NFL draft. And Antonio Williams, the wide receiver, goes top 20. So, I mean, like, you're talking about they have a good defense. This is one of their best defenses and probably one of their best teams since the team that lost to
Trevor
LSU.
Lawrence.
Yeah, the team, whatever year that was. This is their best team since then. So the hype is at an all-time high. I'm starting to wonder if there's not some value on LSU and Garrett Nussmeier at 4.5. Doesn't mean I'm punching it in right now. I'm basically just saying it. But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, I might have to take the points with LSU.
I don't want to completely shit on Dabo Swinney. Like, I know he's built that program, and Clemson wasn't really anything until he got there. He's got multiple national titles.
Yep.
But it cannot be overlooked. Clemson has some really bad losses recently. And I just think because they always have talent, but it's like I don't think the talent all of a sudden changed at Clemson. They have a lot of it this year, but they always have a good amount of it. But I
Yes.
mean, they got their ass. They lost to NC State. They lost to Louisville at home. And I'll never forget when I took Clemson right out of the gate in week 1 against Georgia. I don't know if that was last year or 2
That
years
was
ago.
last year, 27-3.
Yeah, they got their fucking dick kicked in. They didn't show up. So all I'm saying is this: if Brian Kelly breaks this trend and this, I was going to call it a curse, not a curse, but if he snaps this losing streak, you're going to tell me it wouldn't make total sense to be against Dabo? I could so see it.
No one would be shocked. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So yeah, I listen. I'm not pressing the button on LSU, but I'm starting to think I like some points there. And did you have anything
on the game?
Yeah,
nothing yet. I'm
okay.
only leaning towards LSU at this exact moment.
Okay. All right. Later in this slate, Steak, you can point some things out. You've got a pretty good knowledge on some of these teams, which I think is great to reference. But the only thing catching my eye a little bit later is Ole Miss. I want to talk to you about this one. So you and I are both on the Rebels over their win total this year.
Yeah.
8.5. 8.5. I think Ole Miss is an interesting team because last year they had a lot of hype, they had a lot of love, and they had a really good team. They had a great defense. Lane Kiffin's best defense he's probably ever going to have. That's what people are saying this year. And Jackson Dart, who's now with the New York Giants, and Trey Davis. Is that who the wide receiver was?
Trey Harris.
Trey Harris. Ole Miss went 9-3. They did not make the playoff, but they had some really, really bad losses. Every loss was pretty close. A touchdown to Florida, field goal to Kentucky, and then I forget how much they lost to LSU, but that was a close game too. They had no business losing. Now, this year for Ole Miss, it feels like they're coming in with no expectations, whereas last year they had a ton. I don't know that I'm hearing anybody fade Ole Miss or like down on them, but nobody's really super high. Not being talked about. I like this in sports. I like teams and coaches like this when the pressure feels off a little bit. They got a guy starting at quarterback, Austin Simmons. You pointed this dude out to me. We both took him to win the Heisman. I like him. I watched a YouTube episode where Ole Miss is kind of like doing a hard knocks on their team. I watched a 20-30 minute clip. He is a quarterback that I think the team can rally behind. He seems like a good dude, and he seems super fucking talented. I think they threw him to the Wolves. He had to play in a Georgia game, and he led a 10-play, 75-yard scoring drive. I like this kid, and I like this team. They opened the year at home against Georgia State. And would you believe it or not, now I'm not here to fade the Sharps, but nobody likes Ole Miss. Nobody with money. Ole Miss opened 38.5. No, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. 36.5. They're down to 34. 2.5 point move to Georgia State. Total 62.5 is also down to 61. I think Ole Miss, again, I agree with people that say their defense is not as good as last year. I'm sure I was shocked when I heard the stats about Ole Miss's defense being so good last year, but I don't think they're going to fall off a cliff. I don't think they're going to be like LSU's defense 2 years ago where everybody's
not going to fall off a cliff. There's plenty of talent still there on both sides of the ball.
I think I like Ole Miss to come out and fucking boat race Georgia State in their home opener. What do you think?
Zero pushback for you. Absolutely zero. I agree with everything you just said, which is why I'm with you on the win total, and there's no pushback from you there.
Great. Okay, so we're looking a little bit later in on Saturday night. Obviously, we've got some West Coast teams. We've got Arizona State makes their home opener. You got Oregon State, Cal, Arizona, Hawaii. I don't know that you really have anything, but you did tweet that UCLA Utah is one of the sleeper games of the weekend. I thought it was what's that?
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
I thought it was a horrendous take at first, but then we talked about it on the stream, and you kind of brought up some good points.
Yeah,
it is a sleeper game.
Yeah.
So, are you going to be wagering in this game?
Yeah, I'm going to take Utah, man. I got to put my money where my mouth is. I just don't like UCLA at all. I hate the fit with Nico Iamaleava. I think he's going to have a very rude awakening going from Tennessee to UCLA. And I'm a Kyle Whittingham guy. And not only am I a Kyle Whittingham guy, I'm a Kyle Whittingham guy finally being free of the shackles that are Cam Rising's health. No disrespect to 39-year-old Cam Rising whatsoever. Seems like a real nice grampy. But he fucking was just lingering around, hurt every year, and Utah could not move forward until Cam Rising was gone. And now he's gone, and they got this fucking little guy, Devin Dampier from New Mexico or New Mexico State, and no one's that excited about him. But I think Kyle Whittingham is more his style of quarterback, mobile dude. I want to say he ran for damn near 1,000 yards last year. And I think Kyle Whittingham can do damage with this guy. And I need to hurry up on this one too, because when we talked about it 2 days ago, it was -5, and now I see Utah -6.5, which is obviously concerning. But yeah, I like the Utes.
Utah opened 3.5. They got the 5.5. They're still at 5.5 at Circa, but they're 6 everywhere else. So yeah, somebody likes Utah. Now, I'm with you. I'm a Kyle Whittingham guy. We thought about betting on this team on the win total. I got scared off, but
we're gonna regret it. That's my prediction.
Probably. Yeah, probably. Would you fade UCLA as well? Are you going to look to fade them? Are they on your list of teams that you're not into this year? Not necessarily.
To be honest with you, with the exception of this game, they're mostly on my list of teams I don't give a shit about. I don't even know what their win total is, but yeah, we should look, right? That's what we do.
Yeah, I think it's like 4.5 or 5.5. It's not going to be anything high.
5.5, and the over is +132 at FanDuel.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yep. Yeah. I got nothing. I don't like Nico. I'm Deshaun Foster was a cool player. I don't know about him as a coach. So I got nothing against I got no reason to buy into UCLA at all. So I'm with you on that play. Yeah. Okay, let's talk. That's pretty much it for Saturday. Let's talk Sunday. There's a couple games worth mentioning, and then one more on Monday. South Carolina, Virginia Tech. South Carolina is laying 7.5 on a neutral here. Let's see. Do you know where this game is off the top of your head?
Yeah, I know where this game
Charlotte?
is. Georgia.
Oh, it's in where the Falcons play.
Yep.
Well, that'll be fun. I don't know what to do. The only thing I know is that people are really down on the South Carolina Gamecocks this year.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people, smart people and average people that in terms of betting who are just fading South Carolina. I think that's kind of interesting because Sellers is still their quarterback. He was a fun player last year. Beamer's still their coach. He's a good coach. People like him, I think, for the most part, but they don't like anything else about the Gamecocks, apparently. So I don't know what the scuttlebutt is on this game. I can't tell you if people are taking the Cox or taking the Hokies. Total's 50.5, 51. I would probably lean South Carolina or nothing, but I got no play in the game.
I would lean South Carolina or nothing too. South Carolina's a funny team because remember when I was talking about LSU in May, around that same time, a lot of people liked South Carolina and Lenora Sellers, as they should. Lenora Sellers is dynamic and absolutely capable of winning the Heisman Trophy. He's really that good. But they lost a ton on defense. But they still have Dylan Stewart, who was a freshman last year, and they'll have him again next year, and he's absolutely a game changer. And they still have Nick Harbor, who didn't do that much last year, but he's an absolute freak, and I expect a really big season out of him. And I think for me, it's South Carolina or nothing too, man. I really do.
Yeah, I'll probably sit and wait. I'll probably sit and wait on that one and enjoy it. That's at 3:00 on Sunday. And then big one Sunday night. I'm an Irish fan. Notre Dame opens up as a favorite in Miami. 3 down to 2.5. CJ Carr is named the starting quarterback. I think Notre Dame's going to be a good team this year. I really do. I think their defense is going to be rock solid. There is a new defensive coordinator, though. Everybody keep that in mind if you're betting the Irish. Al Golden was their DC for the past couple of years. He's with the Bengals now. They got Chris Ash. Doesn't have a great coaching track record. So we'll see there, but they got plenty of talent. Great wide receiver room. I would say one of the better or the deepest wide receiver room they've had in a really long time. Jeremiah Love is there, running back. They always reload on the offensive line. However, one of their better linemen did suffer a season-ending injury in the offseason, which sucked. But I like CJ Carr. I don't know that I like him first game on the road in a place like Miami. Canes got Carson Beck. You're all over the Hurricanes this year and their win total. Beck to win the Heisman and then in a sprinkle on the Hurricanes to win the national championship. So I'd have to assume you like him to come out here and beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, I do, but this is the game I'm most nervous about. Obviously, like you said, like deep wide receiver room, best running back they've had in a while. Sorry, Audric Estime, and amazing defense overall, with the exception of, I think, a few holes in the secondary, right? And then this quarterback's a stud. You know what I'm saying? I know he's a freshman, but he's a 5-star kid everyone's really excited about. Definitely considered to be more talented than Riley Leonard or Sam Hartman.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm nervous as a Canes backer and a guy who specifically is looking to back Carson Beck, this wouldn't be my ideal situation for starting the year, but I'm very excited for the game. And I do think the Hurricanes find a way to pull it out.
Yeah, I'm scared. I see a lot of people too that I follow picking Notre Dame, which again always makes me uncomfortable. But I got no play. I like the under, a slow start maybe, and then the offenses to pick up. But I hate betting an under in a game with my favorite team playing, because if Notre Dame goes out there and puts up 45 points and I lose my bet, I'm going to feel like an asshole. So I'm going to stay off this one as a bettor, but as a fan, obviously I'm very excited about the game. Last one, Monday, 8:00, September 1st. We've got UNC and TCU. I think UNC opened as a small favorite, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can find the game. It was, oh no, where is it? I cannot find this game, so I cannot confirm. Steak, if you know, feel free to share it. But they're hosting TCU. I like TCU. I'm on TCU's over win total because I like their quarterback, Josh Hoover. I'm a Josh Hoover guy, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I also like their coach, Sonny Dykes, but they're replacing a lot of players. They lost one of their better wide receivers to the draft. And on the other side with UNC, it doesn't seem like anybody really likes the Belichick era in Chapel Hill. So a lot of money's moved this line. I thought UNC opened as a 1-point favorite, and now TCU is -3.5. Steam can win, Steam can lose. I'm not saying that's dictating my wager, but for me, it's TCU or nothing.
Yeah, it might be TCU or nothing. I heard Javon say something interesting, just how the most recent time a coach, big name coach, played TCU week 1 was Deion in Colorado, and they were 24.5-point dogs, and they beat him outright. And I just thought that was such a good point. And I'll be honest, I was initially on North Carolina win total over. I might still be, but I don't like them here, man. I really don't. I like TCU. Think it's a perfect game for Josh Hoover, to be honest.
I do too. I think he's a swaggy dude who plays his ass off, and I think he's very talented. So he's kind of one of those guys where it's like, I don't care who's around him. I think he'll be just fine.
Yeah.
So okay, do a quick recap. I'll run through these the Saturday slate, and we'll talk about what we liked again. All right. Steak, you're going to be on Northwestern against Tulane.
Yep.
I wish you well. I'm not going to be on it. I lean Tulane, if anything. Maryland FAU, you have your eye on the over.
And I have my eye on the Terrapins all year, the over, and how Veltkamp does at FAU.
You like Mississippi State potentially to come out against Southern Miss, a very hyped Southern Miss team, as a 13.5-point favorite on the road?
I do.
You like Tennessee as well, another big favorite, neutral site against Syracuse. I think I'm going to fade my guy, Angeli, who I do like, and it's going to kill me if they fucking end up scoring a bajillion points and I lose this wager, but I think I have to do it. I'm going to take the team total under for Syracuse.
Okay.
Ohio State and Texas. You like Ohio State. You're betting Ohio State. You also like the over. Is that right?
Buckeyes in the over. Yep.
Buckeyes in the over. I'm going to be on Kentucky. I like Kentucky this year. I'm sorry. I keep saying that. I like Kentucky against Toledo in the home opener with a new quarterback. I'm going to get my eyes on this guy and get a little bit more familiar. If there could potentially be some value, you got to find these teams that nobody really talks about, nobody respects, especially in the odds market early in the year. They might be a little bit of a sleeper. So we'll see how Kentucky comes out against Toledo. I like them -10. Steak, you also, oh no, you didn't have anything in Georgia Marshall. I almost said that you did. Sorry about that. Iowa State -14.5 against South Dakota. What were your thoughts on that play?
I co-sign your play.
Co-sign the play. Okay. The other game that we were talking about, well, you mentioned Virginia and Coastal Carolina. Were you going to get involved with that one?
No, I don't think so, but I think it's a fun game to watch.
We are going to clash on the Texas A&M UTSA game. That'll be pretty fun. Saturday night, 7 p.m. I like Owen McCown. I'm on the Roadrunners. I like their offense. Their defense is going to be terrible. I'm sure they're going to be in a lot of shootouts. If anything, I'm maybe talking myself the over too, but I'm going to be on UTSA, and fuck it, I'll even sprinkle on the money line.
Okay, I think A&M rolls them.
All right, Clemson -4, 4.5 against LSU. I think I'm going to play this over. Where are you at?
Starting to see value on LSU with the points.
Okay, all right, very fair. Ole Miss night game at home opener, not really talked about. 34.5 against Georgia State. Got 2.5 points of reverse CLV. If I'm buying low on the Rebels, I'm going to go ahead and take them. Are you staying off?
Cosign,
but staying off. Okay. Late night, Saturday night, you are going to be on Utah -5.5, 6, whatever you get. You don't care.
Yep.
I'm kind of with you on that. Don't know if I'm going to get there. We'll see how my day goes, but I'm with you. Sunday, both of us agree it's the Gamecocks or nothing against Virginia Tech. Miami Notre Dame. As a Miami backer, you are nervous. As an Irish fan, I'm nervous. Should make for a good game. Let's hope. And then UNC TCU Monday at 8:00. We both agree that it's TCU or nothing.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We will be doing this every Friday. Again, late Friday, Saturday morning. This video will be on our YouTube page. Best bets for week one. Bet responsibly. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the page. Hit that like button. We'll see you next week.